This next one is interesting to me, particularly, and I'll try to keep it short in case it's not interesting to anyone else. But the discovery of weird or new or interesting hardware is something that's always kind of fun to discuss. This was tipped off to me by my buddy Sign of Zeta over at the PCFX forums, where there's more to look into. What looks like a PC Engine Duo was recently sold on eBay. But upon further inspection, it does not look to be that at all. Now, a PC Engine Duo is the Japanese version of the Turbo Duo, which was a successor to the TurboGrafx 16. It was the TurboGrafx 16 with the CD attachment on board. So that's what the PC Engine Duo is. It's the Japanese version of that. The Duo R, which is what this looks like, was a follow-up to the original PC Engine Duo that fixed all the capacitor issues that plagued the original PC Engine Duo, which also plagued the Turbo Duo itself.
Which was the dark gray system, the front loader.
Correct.
Tray.
So when you first take a look at this, you look at it and it doesn't look any different immediately than a normal PC Engine Duo R, except for when you look at the text, you immediately notice that it says PC Duo. That's odd because this shell has never existed in that form where it simply says PC Duo. So that's kind of the first thing that's weird about it. Now you could say, well, maybe it was a misprint, maybe something weird. However, what's stranger about this is when you look at the bottom of it, and there's a picture of the bottom with the stickers, what you have are product codes that are US product codes on this, and the product code is the direct follow-up, it's sequentially, to the US Turbo Duo. It also says that it's supposed to be used with an AC adapter that was never produced that has a follow-up product code to the power adapter for the Turbo Duo. That's incredibly weird because neither of these things, have ever been seen. It's also interesting to note that the bottom of the system has FCC compliance information all over the bottom of it, which would not be something that would appear on the bottom of a Japanese system. So we have a Japanese shell with a sort of Japanese name on it that never appeared on this shell, with US FCC information on it, US product codes, and a manufacture date of June 1993, which is after the Turbo Duo was basically dead in the water.
The Turbo Duo stopped production the fall of 92. By this point in 93, TTI bought out everything in the US. What was it, early 92, I believe, or late 91. They basically took over the operations of all the Turbo stuff in the US. And at that point, they put out only 25 more games or 20 games, and there were mail order games, and that's where the Magical Chase is so hard to find because they didn't make a lot of them. So the question is this then. You have a serial number on here that's 3 zeros and 151P. Is that P stand for a prototype? Is it just production? 151 of these potentially were made. And this is the first one we're hearing about. Was it something that was being shown to retailers saying, hey, we have this coming out? If that's the case, it doesn't make any freaking sense because it was a dead system.
That makes no sense.
It was a dead system by then. Why would it be branded as a PC Duo when for the past 4 years, since 89, it was known as a TurboGrafx or Turbo Duo? Doesn't make any sense.
No.
None of it makes any sense.
No, that's why I find this so fascinating, because not a goddamn lick of this makes any sense.
So on the PC Engine FX forums, which I used to go on a little bit, and they seem nice for the most part, there was one theory that this was designed to be an add-on to a PC. To interface with a PC via cable, and then you can put your games in there and play them on the PC. On the surface, that could make sense to have a different branded name to do that. But then how would the technology be that much different than just doing a normal CD-ROM, unless you can also then play these games, put the Hue card in, and then also play it on your computer?
Yeah, but there's a more practical thing that I didn't even... it's kind of... This is assuming in 93 that there are people who still held on to all of their TurboGrafx stuff.
Sure.
I mean,
By 93, it was the hardest of the hardcore that were into TurboGrafx. There's a reason why all those US CD Turbo Duo games are impossible to find. The production runs were probably in the low thousands at most for those. They're not out there. You don't find Bonk 3 CD. No one freaking has it. I've seen it once or twice in my life.
there were certainly people playing it, but what I'm assuming is for a product that could have potentially been mass produced, you're assuming that people are going to have piles of stuff to play on this, stuff that isn't really, that's not sold in stores anymore.
No.
So what is this? My guess, my initial
Or only
guess,
specialty shops like Electronic Boutique.
Right.
Stuff like that would carry, but not Toys R Us for sure. You'd have a tough time finding it.
my only weird guess, and I don't even think this makes sense. I mean, but that's the thing. I really want something to make sense here. Is that it could have been for people who bought a Turbo Duo and experienced capacitor issues, and when contacting technical support, this could have perchance been a replacement system that had, because this if this is in the Duo R shell, then my guess is that it would have the same fixes that the Duo R had, and that this could have been used as a replacement system for people who complained about their Turbo Duo having capacitor issues.
So it's like those few Nintendo Model 2s that have the AV fix on them.
Yeah, that's how I kind of mentioned that to you last. Yeah, exactly.
So you'd have to get in touch with them. They'd have to rig something. So, but then my question is then, if it says 151 on them, does it mean that they sent out 151 fixes that we don't know about any until now? They had to go through FCC for this, and I'm sure that cost them money. I'm sure that it's not a free process to go through FCC, all over again, regulations to make sure it's power compliant and everything else, and it's not going to blow up your house if you plug it into the wall, and all the signals are right and everything else, all that stuff. I'm sure that's not free. But then why does it not have the Dash R on and just have the
Who knows?
Duo?
I mean,
it doesn't make none of it makes sense.
And on the back it says NEC PC Duo. So I mean, it's
Those
strange.
are the two theories I think make the most sense that me and Ian came up with.
Yeah. And I'd love to find out more. I mean, it is possible that it's a hoax, but it just seems like such a weird hoax to go through with.
Especially since it'd be something that no one would know about.
Right.
99% of people wouldn't know about it.
If this guy, I mean, if anyone was trying to hoax someone, it didn't work. I certainly don't think the seller was trying to hoax anyone. He got about normal or slightly above normal for what a PC Engine Duo R would go for.
So maybe 3 or 4 people eagle-eyed saw it and be like, what's going on here?
Yeah, what's the deal?
For the chance that it could be something special.
What's odd is I immediately checked the bottom of my PC Engine Duo R just to see what it is. The NEC info on the bottom of mine is actually imprinted in the plastic, and there are spaces for There are spaces for these stickers, but there are no stickers on it.
Sure.
So I don't know. The whole thing is just very, very bizarre.
I think if this was an interface to hook up with a PC, I think that makes the most sense.
But then you just have a system sitting on top of your PC that's plugging into your PC.
I know I know, which is why they never came out with it.
Yeah.
Because your PC, you can buy a CD-ROM, but then again, in '93, not all computers had a PC-ROM yet, a PC CD-ROM.
You make a good point, and
not until about probably '96, '97 did it become more standard.
And this is still in the era where the Sega CD was billing itself as a CD player, so you could,
So say you have a freaking 1993 Gateway 2000 or Dell, I'm just saying that, it still has a 3.5. Hell, some still had a 5.25 by '93. Yep. This is your solution, because a CD-ROM, they were expensive. They were like $200-300 for a 1 or 2x CD-ROM drive. Yeah. The Sound Blaster 16 pack we got, which had a Sound Blaster 16 sound card and the CD-ROM, 2x CD-ROM, and the pack of like 6 or 7 CD-ROM titles. It was like $250.
Yeah.
So what if this was a solution? Maybe they would charge $150 for this. I don't know. You come out with something to hook up to your computer, and then it plays your CD games, and whoever could find TurboGrafx games by '93, the Hue cards, and maybe they would have bundled it with some software.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. Maybe in Japan they had a bunch of these laying around still, and they figure, hey, we do a cable that retrofits to a interfaces with, I don't know how, but interfaces to a computer with a PS2 port, or
but you'd have to assume this was tested before it was sold, so that means it would have whoever
or
had
prototyped
it
or whatever.
Yeah, or
The strangest thing is the manufacture date is the biggest. Thank God it has a manufacture date because it makes you know that, okay, this was after the Turbo Duo was dead in the U.S., so this is something else. The only question remains is, what is this for? That's what the question is. Was this either a prototype for a computer or was this a fix?
It was made to keep me up all night.
This is the most exciting PC Engine news in 20 years, folks.
I find this stuff exciting. I mean, it's my favorite system. So, I mean, I'm looking at it, and I mean, it's fun to kind of just knock it around in my head, like, especially because it's totally a what the fuck. This is not something,
No, it is.
This is not the FCC and the FCC info and the U.S. product numbers, coupled with the manufacture date, really make you go, this is fucking insane.
But it also makes you wonder, if this is a prototype, why would they go through even stamping it with a production on it?
I don't know.
And doing the FCC and doing a product code that was totally different.
We don't know.
None of it makes any sense.
All we have is what we see. So, yeah.
It is. But at the end of the day, this is going to get 4,000 views because no one gives a shit about the PC Engine and stuff like this. I kid the PC Engine FX forums. I used to go on your site till a couple of you guys somehow said to me that making reproduction manuals was somehow okay for rare games, and I thought that was really strange.
I love the PC Engine. It's my favorite system. Don't give me shit for this one.
TurboGrafx 16 is my second favorite system. I've always said that.
Okay.
You're ready to jump across the table.